and sisters.
We shall not yield to tyranny.
Our cause just, we will prevail. The fight for our rights. Buffs.
Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Bobby, at this point, history. Shame on you. Shame on you. Because we are being played as the American people. Our money is funding a war that we don't need to be in. We shouldn't be okay with it. So as long as I have breath in my body and a mic to use, I will be speaking out against this.
A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls.
The economy, we have a global economy. That's why we're a number one economy in the world. I know that a lot of people want to paint the horrible view of America, but, you know, go live somewhere else and then tell me America's bad.
Patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty.
This is so freaking crazy to me that we have an conflict with Iran before a single person from the Epstein files has been arrested on American soil.
The hour of our liberty is at hand. For freedom is bravo. Brothers and
I was
sisters.
working, man, you know, but it's good to see Rippy out there handling business, man. And again, hey, that's a lot of black Trump supporters, man. I mean, it feels good to see them, man. So I'm...
My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
A real coach. People are getting sick of it. The moment a celebrity steps slightly outside the leftist approved narrative, they get attacked. Chili from TLC gets heat over allegedly donating to Donald Trump.
For liberty. The British advance. We must act.
Our supplies are low, but morale is high.
Then we fight for liberty.
Payne's word captures the spirit of we fight for independence.
With
Welcome to my...
that said they were anti-war. I think they said no new wars. Yeah, they voted for a president that was not going to start any new wars. And what's funny to me is that not only were you lied to, not only did this man start this and get out of the
freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Just in order to get the Greater Israel Project accomplished, you have to kill people. That's why it's wrong. Killing people is wrong, full stop. So you can try to make sense of it with, well, it's a threat and this and that. There's no greater threat than the United States empire.
To the encampment, for liberty.
And what I've learned, and I'm not a liberal or a Democrat. I voted for Trump the first time, but he's become a politician. He lies like all the other politicians. He deceives like all the other politicians.
Endures through every change and challenge. We stand at the dawn of liberty, unshaken by the trials ahead. Our cause in doing.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say anybody that sits in that oval does not like Americans. They love the United States, though, which is the politics, but they don't love the Americans. Americans are farmers. Americans are mechanics. Americans are school teachers. Americans are mom and pop businesses.
And flaming! Soldiers, the enemy is near.
Not only do I love my FBA fam, my Black American fam, my Black people on code, you know, my people that's allies with us, as part of the fam. I love y'all. I love my country too. You feel me?
People see my physique and assume I'm just some dumb Chad. But in reality, I graduated 5th in my law school class, magna cum laude. I got awards for getting the highest grade in my class in constitutional law, criminal law, and legal analysis and writing. I knew I was the smartest I'd ever been in my life.
The cause to victory.
To victory. These pastries are wonderful.
Indeed, but we must stay vigilant.
You know how much it will cost Americans in terms of their increased cost in gas and food over the next year because of the Iran war?
I would simply ask you what the cost is of an Iranian nuclear bomb.
I'm going to give you that opportunity.
I would simply ask you what you're playing gotcha questions about domestic things. I'm not.
You're saying it's a gotcha question to ask what it's going to be in terms of the increased
Why
cost
won't
of
you
gas
answer what
and
it costs to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb?
I give you that, sir. But let me.
What would it cost? What would you pay to ensure Iran doesn't get a nuclear bomb? What would you pay?
I reclaim my time. Do you not know? You had no one do the analysis of what the increased cost of gas and food on the American people are going to be?
What is the cost of Iran holding that straight at issue with nuclear weapons?
It's $631 billion, which means it's an increase of $5,000 a year for American households. Now, let me give you this point. You're saying that your operation is preventing a nuclear Iran. Will you acknowledge that there is an economic cost to the American people for doing what you believe is necessary to make Iran denuclear? Will you acknowledge the economic cost?
We have an incredible economic team that's managing this better than what the previous administration did to our economy. What the previous administration did with inflation. What the previous administration did with COVID. And you're going to lecture this administration about the economy?
You know what is upsetting?
Incredible.
You didn't even do the analysis on how much it's costing the American people. It's one thing if you said, okay, it costs the American people $5,000, but we think it's worth it. That's what we've done in World War II and other wars. Here's what it costs. You got to pay for it. You don't even know what the average American is paying. You don't know what we paid in terms of the missiles that hit the Iranian school. You don't know what we're paying in terms of gas. You don't know what we're paying in terms of food. Your 25 billion number is totally off. It's the incompetence. It's
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm the Ratchet Christian.
I'm Gray Mars.
Hi, I'm Kim.
I'm Kamal.
And tonight, we have an announcement to make, a couple announcements. One, Ratchet Christian will be joining our team. Sound effects, Kamal, sound effects.
I got you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and we're so excited to have you. So her intro is coming soon, everybody. So it'll be out there. And secondly, guys, we will not be having the debate on Sunday because Opinionated Girl says she has to go to Israel. So apparently there's some sort of influencer trip coming. Well, I guess we'll see the details of it. So be on the lookout for that. Either that or she dodged us. I'm just kidding. I'm sure she's going to Israel. And we wish her safe and the best travels. But tonight we're going to be breaking down Pete Hegseth getting grilled on Capitol Hill over the Iran war. I will allow our newest member to comment first. Ratchet, what is your thoughts on what you just saw? Do you think that Pete Hegseth should know what the cost of this war is? Or do you think that's above his pay grade?
I mean, that's the least that he should know. I saw a clip of this earlier this week, and I just it just made me such a fan of Ro Khanna. I'm already a fan of Ro Khanna and how him and Thomas Massie have handled the Epstein files. And every time I see him, I'm always like, who is this diva? Like, I'm obsessed with him. He had Pete Hegseth on the ropes, and rightfully so. I think the questions that he asked him are basic knowledge of things that somebody like Pete Hegseth should know. So it was sad to just kind of see the deflecting, to see again the gaslighting of like, well, you know, we can't let Iran have nuclear missiles and this and that. It's like, yeah, but let's bring it back to the American people. Again, let's make it who it is about and answer these basic questions. And he couldn't. So I think Ro Khanna did a really, really good job holding his feet to the fire.
Well, he said he don't want to hear you talk about the cost. And I'm about to play that clip because the cost of safety is what's more important. Let's watch.
On getting a nuclear weapon. and get them to a point where they're at the table giving it up in a way that
so they
never have it.
So they haven't broken yet. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet for all of the.
Well, their nuclear facilities have been obliterated. Underground, they're buried, and we're watching them 24/7. So we know where any nuclear material
reclaiming
might be.
my time for
we're
just
watching
a quick second here. We had to start this war, you just said, 60 days ago, because the nuclear weapon was an imminent threat. Now you're saying that it was completely obliterated?
They had not given up their nuclear ambitions, and they had a conventional shield of thousands of missiles.
So Operation Midnight Hammer accomplished nothing of substance. It left us at exactly the same place we were before. So much so that we
Kamal, what's your thoughts on everything you just heard? Did we isolate Iran's threat of nuclear, or is it still ongoing?
I don't know if they isolated it. I know one thing, they isolated these damn gas prices. These motherfuckers is high as hell. Goddamn. When y'all gonna get the shit over with? I mean, damn, Donald Trump last week made it seem like he slapped the hell out the Iran president. It was about to be over last week. Come on, can we get it together? Hey, I got a solution. At this point, Pete Hegseth, put the gloves on with one of them motherfuckers over there and throw some hands. All right? That'll satisfy me at this point. All right? Because all this talking shit y'all doing, goddamn, I'm tired of it. I'm ready for this shit to be over with. Now, did they isolate it? I don't know. You feel me? Is it Peg Hegseth? Where the fuck his name is? He was stuttering in that other clip. Sounded like he was lying there, and in this clip we just saw, I don't know. He probably been bullshitting, but I don't know.
Well, gas prices are really high, but again, he was saying the cost is worth more for our safety. This is Kirsten Gillibrand trying to convince him that Americans don't want this, but he says Americans want this. Let's watch.
From the top, Secretary Hegseth. Why do you continue to prosecute a war that the American people aren't behind?
First of all, I appreciate the opportunity for that closed session where we had a, unsurprisingly, very different discussion than we have here with the cameras on. We support this.
Because my job is to represent New Yorkers, and I can tell you, when I talk to them all across my state, they are furious, and they expect me to explain to them why they are furious.
And Senator, when I talk to Americans, and especially when I talk to the troops, they are grateful for a president who has the courage to take on this threat after 47 years of what Iran has done, targeting and killing Americans, and what it would mean to the world if Iran's nuclear ambitions were actually achieved. So the question I would ask to you and to others is, what is the cost of a nuclear-armed Iran? What is the cost to the American people if the world's most dangerous regime has a nuclear weapon?
But the truth is, they don't want war coming to this shore. And when you do a decapitation operation, the likelihood is going to be exchanged in the United States. There's no evidence that we are safer because of this war. We did not have any evidence that Iran intended to imminently attack this country in any way, shape, or form. So I disagree with your assessment that we are under threat.
Do you not believe them when they say death to America?
Listen, our adversaries use rhetoric all the time. What I'm concerned about is we are not safer, and I would just like to know why you have not sought the support of the American people, and 3 out of 5 Americans are against this war today.
I believe we do have the support of the American people, and we have briefed regularly what this mission looks like and why it's critically important that we undertake it. And I would remind you and this group that we're 2 months in to an effort. And many congressional Democrats, as I pointed out, want to declare defeat 2 months in. Iraq took how many years? Afghanistan took how many years? And they were nebulous missions that people went along with. This is different.
Gray, is this what the American people want? As somebody that actually went to Iraq, who served, again, I can't say it enough, thank you for your service. Is this what Americans want?
Some people are going to want it. Some people are going to agree with whatever Trump is doing. They're going to just stick with the status quo. So, but like she said in that clip, it's a third of the people that want it, right? Or it's only a fourth of the people that actually agree with it. So if we look at polls, of course, mathematically, people don't agree with this. As far as Pete Hegseth himself, He was on Fox News for years. He should have better PR skills. He should be able to push back a lot more effectively. If you work in a media space like Fox News, you should have an understanding of this. You shouldn't be on Capitol Hill looking like a buffoon.
A buffoon. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be the contrarian tonight. I think he did better than Kash Patel ever has, Bondi ever has. He actually has been, to me, in my opinion, and y'all know I have been critical of this administration, but I've also been supportive. I think he surprised me. He did better. Once I play all the clips, y'all may agree, y'all may disagree. He did better than most of them. Kimberly actually looked like she agreed with me tonight. But
I mean, that's a low bar, but yeah, he has performed better than Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
Yes.
He's better at gaslighting, sure.
Yes. I'm going to play this clip. This one's just for you, Kim. This was a heckler. Let's watch.
Skilled American workers who serve as the industrial muscle behind our warriors.
Further interruptions of our hearing will be treated in like manner. We appreciate the First Amendment rights of Americans to express themselves, but disruption of this hearing will not be tolerated.
Not the goof troop. I think he did good. But anyways, Kim, could you hear what they said to him?
I didn't.
No?
Can you know what they said?
I got a better
No
clip.
war?
Hold on. There's
Was it
another
Code
angle. I'm gonna play it 1 second. I think it was. Here we
Code
go. Let me play it.
Muscle behind our warriors.
I love that.
Further interruptions of our hearing will be treated in like manner. We appreciate.
Okay, did you hear that one? Now
You're
they called him a war
Mhm.
criminal, basically. You're despicable. You killed the kids, you killed the girls. Is he a war criminal in your opinion? Would you compare him to somebody who I've actively heard you say was a war criminal, which is Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Do you think they're both war criminals?
Yes.
And why?
Well, because he started a war. He's killing innocent people. He has blood on his hands. Whenever there's people protesting, I get goosebumps. Se me enchina la piel. I think that is so beautiful. You're standing up to power. I've done it a few times, but not anybody that's like that big. I would love to. But one of the things that really got me into politics was when there was this protester getting Donald Rumsfeld coming out of a hotel, and she's just in his face before they got smart with Secret Service. And she's just in his face yelling, "War criminal," like from the top of her lungs. And that really moved me. And that's actually what helped me come to the realization of war. What I will say about he is a war criminal. He has blood on his hands. He's part of the whole administration. Anybody who's involved with starting this war, continuing this war, gaslighting and lying to people about this war because they keep moving the goalposts. They can't even keep their story straight. They're war criminals. And I'll use another example. It's similar to when Madeleine Albright, who was Bill Clinton's Secretary of State, had an interview and they asked her if 1 million dead Iraqi people was worth the price of keeping Americans safe. And she said, yes, it was. This is what we're seeing now, but it's much worse now because they don't even try to lie to us with weapons of mass destruction. They just make something up, especially the Trump administration, to fulfill their means, like the ends justify the means. And then whenever it doesn't make sense or it adds up, they change their narrative, they change the goalposts. It's getting harder to lie. It's getting harder to defend the shit. So under that standard, I mean, sure, he was more composed and he was better spoken. I mean, Pam Bondi's so dull and literally dumb. Like she's like a dumb person. So compared to that and Kash Patel, who's always coked out, he did handle himself better. He's more más comportado. Yeah, sure. But I mean, Yeah. And then also, I just want to add to the Madeleine Albright comment. There are still Democrats who think there's like a just war theory. There are still people who think that, sure, this is the price of our safety. But that's not the majority of Americans. And the majority of Americans do feel it in our pocketbooks. Not only is it more expensive for us, but it's actually what keeps us less safe. This is what the CIA calls blowback. The reason why there's blowback and why there's terrorism is because we start these wars of aggression. There has been no just war since World War II. These are all wars of aggression, and that's why there is terrorism. Fun fact, since 2001, 9/11, 2001, if you add up all the terrorist attacks, including 9/11, and every single terrorist attack that has been made against this country on this soil and outside of the soil, none of them have been from Iran. It's been Al-Qaeda, it's been ISIS, it's been what have you, but none of them have been from Iran. So here we are.
Fair enough. We're going to switch gears, guys. We're going to go to the next topic. We are talking about voting rights. So pretty much a landmark case came out. Let me break it down. If you're watching and you haven't already hit the like button, I need you to tap that screen. Let's get the likes up, guys. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes tonight. Here we go. This lady explains it nicely.
The United States Supreme Court will impact your rights, your representative, and every election from here on out. It's a big deal in case you weren't picking up what I'm putting down. By now, you already know the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 on a case out of Louisiana about one of its congressional districts. Now, I know that doesn't sound like anything you should get yourself involved in or care about, but you might want to, because today's ruling, according to the conservative supermajority, chips away at the 1965 Voting Rights Act. But according to the liberal justices, it goes way farther than that. They say today's ruling effectively guts the last bit of that landmark civil rights legislation. Either way you cut it, millions and millions of Americans will be affected by this ruling, and there may be some unintended consequences that we haven't even thought about yet. So let me explain. The whole issue in front of the court today is about that one congressional district in the state of Louisiana. The Constitution says the way we are all supposed to be represented by members of Congress is based on the population of our state, and that representation should be proportional. Now, that doesn't just go, by the way, for representation in Washington, D.C. It also goes for your representation in your state government, too. Well, in Louisiana in 2020, the census awarded the state 6 U.S. House seats based on the state's population. State lawmakers drew a new map to create those 6 House districts. That map included 1 majority black district out of the 6, even though black voters make up about 1/3 of the state's population. So in 2022, a group of black voters sued the state saying, hey, this map is a violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which says you, the state, are not allowed to draw new district maps that dilute the power of our minority vote. A federal judge agreed and said, yep, it's a violation. State of Louisiana, you need to redraw that map. And by 2024, Louisiana had followed the judge's order. And Louisiana drew a new map that created not 1, but now 2 majority black districts. Because, remember, representation is based not only on population, but also should be proportional. Well, a group that describes itself as non-African American sued and said that new map with those 2 majority black districts is a violation of the Equal Protections Clause of the Constitution. And today, the conservative supermajority of the United States Supreme Court said, yeah, that new map with those 2 majority black districts is unconstitutional. Now, importantly, Justice Samuel Alito, who wrote the majority opinion, said that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is still intact. He said the justices are not getting rid of it altogether. However, the reality is today's ruling is going to make it way more difficult to prove that a state is violating Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act by gerrymandering a map that dilutes the minority voice. Alito says a plaintiff now has to prove that the state intentionally drew its district to afford minority voters less opportunity because of their race. He went on to say they have to prove that a districting scheme denies members of a racial group the same opportunity as other voters to elect the candidate they prefer. Prior to today, if the minority voters wanted to challenge a state map under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, they had to meet a much lower threshold. And they certainly didn't have to prove the state intended to dilute their vote. But why? Why is this happening now? Well, it's sort of been a feature of the Roberts Court for a while, but generally, the conservative justices on this court do not believe racial discrimination is really a problem in this country. Certainly not the way it was in the past. In fact, in his majority opinion today, Justice Alito wrote, vast social changes have occurred throughout the country and particularly in the South, which have made great strides in ending entrenched racial discrimination. Now, whether you agree with that or not is your choice, but I can tell you the liberal justices absolutely do not agree with that statement. And Justice Elena Kagan, who wrote the dissent, said this ruling is absolutely going to take us backwards and it is going to make it harder to prove that a state is diluting minority voices. She wrote, there is a substantial risk that intentional discrimination would go undetected, uncorrected, and undeterred. The consequences are likely to be far-reaching and grave. Today's decision renders Section 2 all but a dead letter. In the state where that law continues to matter, the states still marked by residential segregation and racially polarized voting, minority voters can now be cracked out of the electoral process. So that's the ruling, that's the decision. So how is this going to impact you? Well, this ruling is probably going to set off another flurry of redistricting in the states, especially in the South, where there are several minority districts like this one in Louisiana. We've already seen President Trump launch an extremely rare mid-decade redistricting war that has shifted congressional districts for voters in lots of states like Texas and California, Virginia, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, Utah, and probably Florida too. But here's the thing. That redistricting based on today's ruling may not impact the midterms because many of those states are sort of already in the primary election season, so it might be too late to redistrict now. However, we should all brace ourselves because major redistricting wars will start right back up after the midterms, just in time for the 2028 presidential election.
Okay, that was a whole lot. Gray, we talk a lot privately. You made it very clear you will never be a Republican. You've explained to me that you think that they're racist. Was this racist? This was a predominantly conservative Supreme Court, half of which, a quarter of which President Trump has nominated. He's put 3 of the Supreme Justices on there. And one more, rumor has it, guys, you heard it here first, one more Alito is going to retire in the next year or two. We're hearing he is going to be out soon. Was this racist?
If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, is it a duck? But with basically me doing the new party, I've seen more Black Republicans than I've ever seen in my entire life. So maybe it's going to backfire. I mean, like so much Black MAGA, maybe they'll change that district and then it completely backfires. Who knows?
Well, okay. Okay. I'm going to play a clip and then I'll get Kamal and Asma Ratchet into the conversation. This is the Fox News version of it. Let's hear what they had to say.
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not Black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These 2 districts that were minority majority. Essentially, Louisiana had drawn up districts and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented Black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had 2 of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-Black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like the dissent sticks together with Justices Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson. But here's what the majority says. They say in some, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district, no compelling interest justified the state's use of race in creating SB 8. That was those 2 new districts. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander, and its use would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights. Now, this opinion is almost 100 pages long, so we're going through to see if it says something more broadly about the Voting Voting Rights Act. That had been the fear on the left, that somehow this decision, if it was favorable for those challenging these maps, that it would somehow do a big chunk out of the Voting Rights Act. Haven't gotten to language that suggests that yet. It sounds like this decision is primarily about what happened in Louisiana. So we'll keep digging through this. But for right now, it's a win for those who were challenging these two minority majority districts. Now, as we read through this and figure out the broader implications, there were 20 plus districts across the country that would have potentially lined up with this decision. They could be open to challenges that they were drawn on the basis of race, or that it was the primary factor that was used in drawing those districts. Most of those are throughout the South. So we'll look to see if there's enough sweeping language in this particular decision that may have a domino effect on some 20 other districts. Could be huge for the midterms. We'll continue.
Kamal, I know you're probably itching, biting at the opportunity to talk to the chat, but I want you can talk to the chat, but I also want you to answer, was this racist in your opinion? Go ahead.
First of all, I was hoping today I didn't have to talk to the chat, but I guess I am. We'll get to you in a little bit. Second of all, ain't gerrymandering been going on for years? I'm confused. Why the fuck is this? Why? Why is this important right now? They've been gerrymandering, slicing up shit, maps here and there, all through districts, local, all through the United States. It don't fucking matter. Gerrymandering been a thing for the fucking, since they done politics. Like, I don't know why this shit important right now, to be honest, you feel me? I'm just kind of confused, because I'm like, hey, this been here for years. So, and they do it in red states, they do it in blue states, right? So I'm like, you know what? Does this fuck up the money for certain districts? Let me get my inner Ken Billions on, you feel me? Where's the money going? You feel me? Is this going to fuck up money in the black districts? That's what I care about. Fuck all that voting shit. By the end of the day, most states, the color is going to be either red or fucking blue. It's only a few states that are swing states. Let's be fucking real. All right. Texas might be one of them. So I see why the importance of all that gerrymandering is important. But most states are red and blue. Now, I'm done with my rant. On to the chat. Y'all don't take this Neanderthal John serious. He been sucking on his mama titty since he was 14. We can't take nobody serious like that. Go sit your slow ass in the digital corner. And with that being said, let's proceed with the broadcast. Shout out to my FBA fan. Anyway.
Okay. Ratchet, was this racist or not? What do you think?
Man, okay, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and they're going to be two separate thoughts. I think my knee-jerk reaction, my first initial reaction when I saw this was to automatically feel like, man, this is racist. You know, this is voter suppression. This is them trying to take voting power away from African Americans. And then once I let that initial feeling subside, I was able to think it through. And as the clip went on and I was listening, what I'm getting from it is that, okay, they're doing this now initially to limit the power of Black voters in Louisiana. But I think what a larger picture is down the road that we're going to see is that they're trying to do this to limit their largely Hispanic vote that's coming and has arrived in the US. I think this is something that the conservative Supreme Court is putting into place to have the infrastructure to combat the large increase of minority voters in this country. And so nowadays, we don't ever talk specifically about Black people. We've gotten lost in the word minority. Minority now barely means Black people. It means they're talking about the Hispanic vote. And so I think they're being preemptive to have the structure to limit the power of the Hispanic vote that came in under the Biden administration. So that's one. Two, as the lady was talking, it made me think about this book that I read. It was called what was it called? The White Bonus. the white bonus. And I always think about this quote that the author said. She was like, what's gone on in America, the reason why we don't have, free healthcare, free college, the reason why there's so many restrictions around voting is like, white America, what it does is it'll have Black Americans build a ladder and then they'll climb up top and then pull the ladder up with them, and then say, well, figure out how to get yourself up here. You know what I mean? So a lot of the things that the booby traps that are placed out in America for Black Americans to step in, white Americans don't think down the line in the future to say, how will this impact my grandchildren? How will this impact my children? They only think about what's foreseeable right now and how they can limit minorities from getting ahead. It's sad, it's short-sighted, and it never works. It never works the way that they think it will. It just hinders America from doing better. And so I just think it's more of the same. It's like, do people ever get tired of just nonsense and being evil and doing stupid stuff? Like, America could be so great if everybody could just stop being racist and stupid. So I rest my case.
That was a very good case. And my other side of this is white people are actually the minority in this country. They will be in the next 20 years. So I don't think we should.
They know that.
Yeah, and for me, I don't think we should be having voting based on any race. And I know last night, one of our panels, our castmates, were very upset that this happened. But when I read it and I did my own research, I have the same conclusion you have, Ratchet. But one more clip, we're going to get our lovely Kimberly in here. This is what Van Jones had to say. And then, Kimberly, in your response, I also want you to answer this person's question. I feel like you'll be the best one to answer it.
This moment.
I think it's huge. I think it's devastating. It's the end of an era. This is the bill that John Lewis was beaten almost to death to get passed. This was the crowning achievement of the civil rights era, the crowning achievement of Dr. King's life work. It's part of why he was murdered. It brought America out of this horrific past that we've been stuck in for 200 plus years of enslavement, 100 years of racist Jim Crow terror, lynchings, no rights, no protection. This was the moment that we really became a democratic republic in the full sense of the word. Dr. King kind of becomes the final founder of this republic in that moment. To take that, ball it up, and throw it in the toilet, flush it, and have the president crowing about it is devastating. Because these states, I'm a Southerner, I grew up in Tennessee, these states still have that unfortunate legacy where everybody's not treated fairly, and everybody knows it. And yet now the Supreme Court says we're going to turn a blind eye to that, not just history of discrimination, but the present tense of it. Not good.
And the implications, I mean, you're talking about something obviously existential in many ways. The implications practically, Congressman, are such that could actually affect the way these midterms go. Right. It's been quite a while where if you looked at any betting market or polls or whatever, when it comes to the House, never mind the Senate, but the House, Democrats had a huge advantage. That could shift, right? You're seeing this happening in state after state. And you had Marsha Blackburn today. She is now calling for the elimination of all Democratic seats in the state of Tennessee, your home state.
Absolutely.
Okay, as a result, we should talk about this Voting Rights Act, going to make that entire state red with her proposal. Florida lawmakers today passed Governor DeSantis's push, which would attempt to give Republicans 4 more seats in Florida. That could mean the House. I mean, this could be game, set, match.
Well, I think in the short term, there will be limit what states can do because voting has already begun in many places. Now, Florida, they're going to try to squeeze out 4 seats. Now, I think it's a big lift. Ask the guys in Texas. They think they're creating 5 additional Republican seats. They'll be lucky to win 3 of them. So that's a problem. You just pointed out Tennessee. Tennessee has one African-American majority district that's in Memphis, represented by a white congressman, Steve Cohen. So, yeah, this is a setback for the Voting Rights Act. By the way, I voted to reauthorize it in 2006. Right. That was the last time for 25 years, and obviously there have been these intervening court rulings. And here we are. By the way, it was an overwhelming vote. It was Republican Congress, Republican President George Bush. So we've come a long way.
Well, it shows how things have changed.
But I just think it's so important to recognize that because when it was time, and you were a great hero in this, when it was time to reauthorize it, Congress looked at it and said, you know, we think there's still problems here. We need to reauthorize it. And it was bipartisan, massive majority. George W. Bush signed it. So what you have is, in that short period of time, a decade or so, a different bunch of Republicans decided, we just don't care. We would rather win seats than to make sure we have a Democratic Republic.
All right, Kim, I have you respond. Do you think this is racist? And then also answer this person's question.
Does anyone think that the Democratic Party needs to speak on blue collar issues, talk on housing, food prices, than what they have been? Yeah, yes, I do. Butch Ware talks about all of that. So I sat out the special election for California's Prop 50, which was gerrymandering. I was not going to vote for it because gerrymandering is voter suppression. There shouldn't be gerrymandering based on race to benefit either party, including the Democrats, because the Democrats use gerrymandering to benefit them as well as the Republicans do. And I didn't vote against it because I also thought, well, at least the Democrats are playing the same game the Republicans have been doing, because they started gerrymandering the last couple 5-6 years, even going back to the Powell memo and all that. So at least they're starting to, quote unquote, stand up for themselves, defend themselves, grow a pair, say have you. But overall, it's voter suppression. So that's what it is. It's racist when you do it to benefit either of your political agendas, not just the Republicans, and the Democrats do it too. But the problem with the Democrats is that they will pander, they will lure you, they'll get you to vote for them. And then, for example, Barack Obama will give you DACA, but he won't give you citizenship for children who came here. The Democrats will give you a little bit here and there, just para complacer, to keep you from revolting, breads and circuses. The Republicans are the complete opposite. They would revoke DACA or they wouldn't have even passed it to begin with. Does that make sense? So either way, when they do things like this with specifically gerrymandering, which I think should just be illegal overall, not just based on race, but based on any demographic, is that they use it to their own political advantage. That's the problem with overall. I had this conversation with Gray at length, but it's the duopoly. It's that there's two parties, and if there's a Venn diagram of the donors that donate to them, it's a big fucking circle. Like George Carlin said, it's a big old club and you ain't in it. We ain't in it. It's
That's
at
a
our
good quote.
expense. So,
You said it best, Kim. And yeah, I mean, so pretty much, yeah, I mean, we'll see how this plays out. I'm curious to see how it plays out, but we're going to switch gears here, guys. We're going to go to the funniest conversation of the night. Elon Musk, baby mama.
Can I piggyback real quick off of what Kim was saying when it comes to the Van Jones clip? Like, I think the Democratic Party, like she says, like with the pandering sometimes, like anytime something happens that could potentially, affect the Black community, we go all the way back to bringing up slavery, all the way back to undoing the works of Martin Luther King, instead of like, okay, focusing on this particular thing and how it's going to impact us now. I do think that it's like a lot of fear mongering that's going on. Like, anytime the Republicans do something, it's like, guys, listen, we're going to be back out in the field tomorrow if we're not afraid. And it's like, no, let's think soberly about this, what's happening currently, and how does this affect us currently? We can't keep going back to how this affected us from 200 years ago. And so that's how they lose me sometimes with doing that. It's like, okay, I do think this is an issue, but you don't have to make me afraid. Help me to know the information so that I can vote accurately about it. Don't fear monger me.
Well, I will say the Republicans fearmonger too. That's why you get a lot of like those MAGA,
No, they both do.
True.
Like the white replacement theory BS.
Yeah.
So
we're going to talk about that now.
They
the
both use
fearmongering.
the racial card. There should just be no racial gerrymandering at all.
I agree. We shouldn't be talking about race at all. But unfortunately, this is where we're at. MAGA influencers exposed by Elon's baby mama. She breaks it all down. Ashley St. Clair, where have you been? Oh, if you're going to see this, I wrote you. Please come on the show. I got questions for you. You need to come to the front of the congregation. But here she is talking about MAGA agitators.
Stay with me while I tell you about the paid agitators in MAGA politics, from Turning Point to Libs of TikTok. For those who don't know, my name is Ashley St. Clair. I was a MAGA influencer involved in MAGA politics for almost a decade. I know. Now, I want to talk about this because within the right wing and MAGA, it is prolific that they are obsessed with George Soros and calling Democrats paid activists, and the radical left is all paid. But what there is not enough attention on is how much of the MAGA influencer sphere is propped up on paid agitation. And I'm going to focus primarily on my experiences with companies and individuals like Libs of TikTok, Turning Point, and my former company that Benny Johnson had co-founded. We will start off with the company I was working at with Benny Johnson, and my first job for this company was to go to the DNC convention and basically be a paid agitator. I was made to hold a sign that said "Creepy Joe has got to go," talking about Joe Biden because, I don't know, he did that weird sniffing thing. But simultaneously, this is happening, and I'm made to hold a "Creepy Joe has got to go" sign, and I'm being harassed by people.
Thank you. Nice.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
He said "nice ass" as you walked away.
He said "nice ass"?
I think so.
No! No, come back.
At the same company at which I was harassed and grabbed by Madison Cawthorn, and they kept him as a client. Now, this protest content is money in MAGA, okay? You are either going to get buku bucks from social media, from posting this content because there's so much engagement, or a company is just straight up going to pay you to go to protest. Turning Point does this a lot. They have their contributors fly out, all expenses paid, to go and cover these protests, but really they are just agitators. Also, this is going to be my last time using this reformulated luminous silk because I hate it. I wore it yesterday and I hate it. It looks too cakey. It's not the same. And whoever decided this was a good idea to reformulate it after 25 years should be fired. There is also major money to be made. I am talking 7 figures to be made by people who post this agitator harassment content, such as Libs of TikTok and the likes. For those who don't know, Libs of TikTok is a Libs of TikTok LLC. It is a company, okay? You can look this up yourself. It is a company, it is a business, and Haya, who runs Libs of TikTok, would run around and send me pictures of the new designer she's buying, and she has a stylist and is buying a home. This is very lucrative, and they will pathologize this and say, well, you know, I have to because I was getting so many death threats and now I'm independent and I'm successful. But really, they just don't want real jobs. That's the reality of it. Now, this company, Libs of TikTok, because of another job I had, I ended up having to work with Haya. And I don't know, for a long time, like, I had a soft spot for Haya. I think because she's just so stupid. Like, she's, like, genuinely not impressive intellectually. But I would be getting calls. I tried to set boundaries with this woman, okay? I was like, babe, my kids, I have to put my son down at a certain time. Like, you cannot be calling me about drag queens at 9-10 p.m. She did not respect these boundaries whatsoever. But what's also fascinating about this is that Haya and others were also aware that I was very uncomfortable with this trans panic and would quite often say, this is wrong, you know, we can't just dox trans people. At one point I had to tell her, you cannot just post photos of random minors. Like, if you're gonna post children, you need to blur their face. What are you doing? And it was just genuinely a nightmare. But again, this was a business for her. It still is a business for her. And her and many others suffer from like this agitation content brain. They view everything as, oh, that's gonna be good content, that's gonna do numbers. And they have these like tip inboxes where people just send them the most crazy of things, and then they push this out as if it.
So she gave the tea about the paid agitators. Kim, what's your thoughts on everything you just heard? Are you going to go and work for Turning Point now and get you your check?
Can someone put me in contact? Turning Point, Israel, Qatar, honestly, anyone. I am a theater kid. I still go to acting classes. I think I could do really good, especially like the more you pay me. I can't think of anything I wouldn't do for money. I have a price for everything. Like, if name the worst, whatever it is, I'll give you a price. Like, I have a price for it. It might be much, but I have a price. At the beginning of the video, there was this quote where she said, it was so funny because I sent it in the chat. I said I was going to put it on a shirt. She said, I was never violent, though I probably should have been because her man was so crazy. But at least she was getting money out of it. Is that mean? Is that mean? I am so sorry, but like, I had to deal with similar shit and I wasn't getting paid. Like, damn it. I was dumb. I should have, this whole time, I could have been getting paid for it. I was being dumb for free. But yeah, put me with your contacts. I'll hold up a sign. I'll agitate some people if you pay me.
Well, why does her voice sound so different compared to before, Kim? Is this the fake voice, or was that the fake voice, or did she just grow up?
I'm not familiar with her voice.
Her voice was in there. She was like, "Hey, what did you say to me?"
Oh, I could do that too. Is that a requirement?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not going to play the video because it's a good friend of mine in real life, but she did the makeup for someone I personally know, and she was like pretty. I love my friend, but she was pretty exact with the makeup and the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
I'm sure she was playing a character, right?
Yeah, she said that she plays characters.
It helps. Mm-hmm.
Oh, her content voice?
Yeah, I wish she would have showed us what products she was using.
She talks about, if you go in the comments, she puts them.
Oh, okay.
You gotta go on her actual TikTok. But I'll play the next clip and we'll get Ratchet in here. This is her dishing on DC Drano, her other ex-boyfriend.
With me while I tell you about my MAGA.
How many boyfriends has she had?
Who was 34
A lot.
moved me across the country at 20 years old. For those who don't know, my name is Ashley St. Clair. I was a MAGA influencer involved in MAGA politics for almost a decade. I know. Now, I went back and forth for quite some time about whether or not I ever wanted to talk about this situation, but I think it's important, especially as I'm deconstructing and talking about my evolution throughout MAGA politics. But part of it was because my behavior was less than stellar in this relationship. I blamed myself a lot. Simultaneously, I also remained friends with this individual for a long time because there were times where he was friendly. I don't know why I maintained this relationship, but I did. Now, it wasn't until many, many years later that one and then several other of his ex-girlfriends reached out to me, became friends with me, and it turned out that it wasn't just, crazy Ashley who had this experience. He was doing this to many, many other women, and he had a modus operandi. So we are trying to reformulate it and what is supposed to be the color match for my discontinued shade and see how this goes. Now, this man, because I have enough lawsuits, we will call him Tampa because that is the god-awful place he moved me to. But I met Tampa at a Turning Point event, ironically, the Young Women's Leadership Conference, when I was 20 years old. Now, right away, Mr. Tampa starts chatting me up. And immediately, he invites me to go join his friends about 2 hours away in the middle of nowhere, Texas, at this ranch, whatever. So I do. And at this time, right, I am 20 years old. I am a college girl. And within a month, this relationship progresses very, very quickly. He is flying me out to Tampa to visit him for the 4th of July, introducing me to his friends, calling, texting me. And at this point, I was incredibly insecure and very much a pick-me. I needed this male validation more than I needed water or a doctor. So I was eating it up. Mind you, this man is in his mid-30s at this point. And he asked me to move to Tampa, demands it really. He says, I want you here, I'll take care of you, move out here, you can just do Instagram like me for a living. Because at this point, this man is a professional Instagrammer. So this man comes to Colorado and swoops me up from my mother's house, moves me out, and we drive across country in my car, my Hyundai Elantra, to Tampa. We arrive basically on the day of my 21st birthday, of which I spend in a shitty dive bar with him and 2 of his friends. Nothing memorable. I honestly forget it happened many times. When my mother finally sees where this man has moved me into, she is aghast, okay? Because there is part of the ceiling falling down in this place. Nonetheless, he is switching up very quickly, getting upset that I'm not contributing enough to the bills, says I need to work more, which, by the way, mind you, he just had me leave my college town and leave school and do Instagram for a living. How am I supposed to do that, honestly? How am I supposed to do that? Now, before meeting this man, I was a bit more contrarian. I had not fully evolved into my MAGA form, but he made sure that my evolution was going to be complete. He would tell me what to post, he would make me hold poster board signs and tell me exactly what to write on them, and then share these on his Instagram with, over 1 million followers. And he very much was curating everything that I said, told me never cross the base, here's how you respond to this, X, Y, Z. And I was really finally coming into form, into my full MAGA costume. He was giving me trucker hats that were aesthetic nightmares and teaching me how to wear a MAGA costume, of which he did, right? This man's hands were softer than mine, but he dresses up like a blue-collar worker every single day. At sometimes, he purposely keeps mud on his truck because, in his words, people expect Tampa to have a dirty truck. Excuse me? I'm probably gonna need 2 parts for this because I forgot how fucking crazy this man was. But within a month of me moving to Tampa with Mr. Tampa, I am then whisked away to Martha's Vineyard where his mother owns a house, and I was trapped on that godforsaken island for a month because he spends a month there every summer. So right away, after only knowing this man for a short blip of time, I am stuck on Martha's Vineyard with him and his mother and sleeping on a patio bed. Now, this made me feel like I was in a scene from Get Out, so the only thing I did to numb the pain was drink excessively. This man, however, all he does is hit his Benjamin. I don't know that this man is ever sober because he's addicted to kratom and flour, if you know what I mean. He is always on something despite this very conservative demeanor he puts out online. Now again, this relationship was very volatile. There was a lot of screaming, fighting. I was never violent, though I probably should have been. Now this relationship, I had moved in July, and by November, I was out of there, okay? Towards the end of the relationship, I was in the hospital with a kidney infection that went to my blood. They had told me that if I didn't go to the hospital when I did, and they had come a day later, I would probably be... Nonetheless, mind you, I had no family here. I am in Tampa. I know no one in Tampa, and Mr. Tampa said that he could not stay with me at the hospital because he had posted about a veteran's funeral on Instagram who didn't have any family, and he needed to show up to this. So while I am basically dying in the hospital, I am watching him post about a funeral for a veteran who had no family, as if he's this altruistic guy. Mind you, 1,500 people showed up to this funeral, while I was dying in the hospital with no family. Now, after I almost died, I decided to go visit my family in Colorado and my friends and really get the fuck away from this man. Now, when I came back after my short trip, I found a face mask in our shared master bathroom, which was incredibly curious because at this point I had already moved into the guest bedroom because I was over this man. When I pressed him about this, he said, "I thought it was yours," to which I responded, "I would never use something that disgusting and cheap." It turns out this face mask belonged to a current sitting member of Congress who he is friends with. To this day, they both insist that nothing happened and that she just spent the night because she needed somewhere to stay because she was moving to the district to carpet bag for her seat that she currently holds now. She also got very upset at me for telling this story because it insinuates that she cheated on her husband, though all I have done is tell the accurate recollection of facts here. Oh, this woman also, while I was dating Tampa, had a group chat with him and his friends telling him to break up with me because I'm a brand liability, which is accurate, but really I should have broken up with him because he's fucking crazy.
I'm sorry, guys. This was great. This was great. Okay. I'm going to reveal who the people are that she's talking about, and then I'll get Ratchet in here. This is
Allegedly.
DC. Well, he revealed it himself. He revealed it was him himself. This is DC Drano. He was one of the influencers that went to the White House with the fake Epstein drop. Let me see if I can get another picture for you guys. Yeah, so this is him. And I suspect the woman she's talking about is Anna Paulina Luna.
Oh, shit, really?
You know who she is?
The Mexican one, right? From Florida?
I'll show you her. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with her. I like some things she does.
I'm pretty sure it's her that they're talking about because she's in that region. Let's see if there's an image of them together. I don't think there is, but this is her right here. What is this picture right here?
Is that really her in a bathing suit?
Yeah.
She was a former stripper?
Yep. And here she is hanging out with him around the same time that she's referring to. So this is Elon Musk's baby mama, who y'all just saw. She's really rather young. Ratchet, what do you think about all what you heard? I gave you guys some soap opera tonight, all for the free.
I think she's a bird. I do. I think she's a bird. I think she's the political Selena Powell, and let's just call it what it is. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, girl to girl, woman to woman, you're a bird, but instead of fucking rappers, you fuck guys with political clout. That's one. Two, talking about I'm deconstructing politically, like, let's be for real. You're not going through a spiritual journey. You're changing your brand as thin white women have the opportunity to do. So let's talk about intersectionality. You're young, you're thin, you're white, you're attractive, and you're just switching your brand. You're going from career to career because you see the conservative one is not lucrative anymore. It's not because you're remorseful. It's not because you don't believe in it. It's because you know that it's a dying brand, and I don't respect it. As minorities who come out and support conservative views, we are risking our relationships with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers. We put everything on the line to be outspoken about our views. And so the fact that she can just sit up there and do her makeup and admit to the fact that she was just playing a game. Oh, I was 20. He flew me out. Where's the accountability? You're a bird. You got flew out to fuck. That's just what it is. You weren't a child. You weren't being taken advantage of. You knew what you were doing. You played the game. It stopped being fun for you. And now you're doing something else and not doing it well either, because you still look like you're in that 1-bedroom apartment. If I'm fucking a guy who has the Epstein binders, I at least want to be put up somewhere. I want something to show for it. You didn't even play the game right. If you're going to be a hoe, like, hoe well. Do it well. I used to be a hoe. You know what I mean? I had some stuff to show for it. This is not how you do it. And so to just go on TikTok and do a get ready with me, that's not even good for real. to spill tea, I think it's whack. I think it's lame. And I think it's incredibly offensive for people who put everything on the line to support conservative views. It's a dying brand. I get it. But girl, let's not paint yourself out as a victim because you're not that. You're a bird. You got fucked. You're back home. You're doing content. That's life.
Ashley, in Asma, in one video, she said that she couldn't afford to laminate her eyebrows. I said, God damn, how broke you got to be? You Elon Musk baby mama.
You ain't do it right. You ain't do it right. Like if you got all the way up to Elon Musk, you played the game, babe. You played it well. Go somewhere on a yacht, sit down and be quiet, collect your child support checks like we tend to do, and enjoy your life. But the whole thing of like making it seem like, oh, I was taking, this man to not, I want to say take advantage of me, but it's just, you have to pay attention to what people say, even if they don't come out and say it. She was painting herself out as a victim when it's like, you're not. You're a willing participant. You deceived the public and you're sitting there doing your makeup and acting like it was no big deal. It was a big deal, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And she has no shame because she doesn't have to. She's thin, she's white, she's young. Her identity can be fluid. And in a couple of years, we'll forget about this whole thing. She'll be a housewife. She'll own a home in Martha's Vineyard, and life will go on because white women have the opportunities to do that. I rest my case.
Well, I'm not going to have the fellas comment on this. We're going to talk about Byron Donalds for the last part of the show. But that was well said. But Ashley, I like you. I would like to have you come on the show. Ashley, if you see this, Nora, the host, does not agree with that. We will be your friends, Ashley. And I would like you because we need to add a nice little Jewish girl because she's also Jewish. so Ashley, please come on the show.
So all jokes aside, I think what Ratchet said is 100 on point. And the eyebrow thing, that's after having a baby with the richest man in the world?
She said that she cannot afford to laminate her eyebrows because money is tight. This was in one of her latest videos. I'll send it to you, Kim.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But here we go. We're going to play this for the fellas. This is Byron Donalds. He was leaked to saying something very controversial to his audience.
Everybody here in the room, I hope you're investors in this company, okay? Because if you're investors, you're shareholders. If you're shareholders, you get to spend some time with the CEO and you get to help steer the direction that this great state is going. Y'all, my friends, Byron Donalds.
Okay, Gray, what happens here affects us. Will you be an investor into the first potential Black governor for the state of Florida?
No, I will not. And but what I think is sad is to see Republicans going after Byron Donalds. You got the endorsement from Donald Trump, and there's a Black guy going for governor. You got James Fishback and a lot of these other right-wing people going after Byron Donalds. And it's like, why can't he be the representative for the Republican Party in Florida? That's a good question.
Why can't he? Because he's AIPAC Shakur.
Oh, that's why?
Yeah. They say he in the bag. They said they got him all in the bag. I will have to show. Actually, he said, wait, there's a clip of him saying he stands with Israel. There's a clip of him explaining how he, that's his biggest, concern, anti-Semitism. That's one of the things he's going to go after. He feels like that's more important than the affordability crisis that we have here. I'm going to play the clip for you. He feels like those are top issues. That's the top issue. He's like, that's his thing. Hold on, let me play it for you.
He wants to defend Israel?
Special message to everybody around the world, especially those who want to find themselves getting into the business of other people or messing with our greatest ally in Israel. Donald Trump is going to stand by Israel 100% of the way. 100% of the way. And Donald Trump is going to get us out of these wars because he did it once and he's going to do it again.
Can't listen to no more. I can't listen to no more lies. We in a whole new war right now. But anyways, Gray, what do you think about that clip? What do you think Byron Donalds will prioritize? Because it sounds like to you feel like because he's Black, we should just vote for him. And because he's a Republican, Republicans should just get behind him. We should give him a chance. We should just support him.
What I'm saying is you would think there would be a unilateral, everyone would want to support him. That's what I was saying in the Republican Party on the right. But you're seeing people split, and you're seeing James Fishback is a person I know. I don't know who else is running in that race, but you're seeing other people get votes, and I wonder why everybody's not getting behind Byron Donalds. I don't feel like people are going to be talking about AIPAC when they vote for Byron Donalds. I just don't feel like on a state level people care about that. I'd like not to say it like that, but when it's just a local election or a state election, I don't feel like that's people's first go-to. I think people are thinking about taxes. People are thinking about jobs. People are thinking about stuff that's going on in the state. They're not thinking about national federal issues.
No, you are 100% wrong. The reason why people are not supporting him is for this issue, because we in Florida have been giving direct money to Israel, and we have been putting up bonds, and we've been sending them there. So you are 100% wrong, and he's going to double it if he's the governor. He is going to be more for Israel than I believe Ron DeSantis ever was. So for me,
What
we
proof
have
do you have that you're correct? What proof?
that clip I just played, and there's like 10 more like it, honey.
You just said that you know for a fact that people are not going to vote for him because of AIPAC. What proof?
Because I've seen all the comments online. I've seen the rallies. I've watched James Fishback. Why do you think James Fishback fills up a whole room? Why do you think all the college kids are into him?
What is James Fishback polling?
He's not polling well because he doesn't have the backing of major organizations supporting him, clearly. But I tell you what, I don't think Byron Donalds is going to win against the Democrat. I think we are going to see a flip in this state. We are going to see a Democrat governor for the state. He's polling within 5%. Ron DeSantis won this state by 20%. Ron DeSantis, you guys can go look it up. My numbers are there. He beat the Democrat candidate in this past election by 20%. Byron Donalds at best is polling within 5% of both of those people that are running against him.
I can tell you for a fact, when I voted for Andrew Gilliam, which I regret now, and when it was against Ron DeSantis, me and Ron DeSantis went to the same high school. Nobody talked about foreign policy. And I went to J. Cole was down here.
We are giving money to Israel. We are giving money to a foreign entity in our state. You need to know about this because you live here. So you should go do research on it. So actually, you can keep your head in the sand and say, I don't care about foreign policy, but our state is affected by it.
You're talking about a governor race. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a governor's race.
But you're saying that, oh, nobody cares about a federal issue, an international issue. Yeah, people care because this is affecting our personal state. We were in Idaho and you're making comments like that. That would be something different. But here in Florida, it affects our states.
People that think like you and watch the news all the time, sure. But your average Joe, no.
The average Joe is at James Fishback rallies.
Polling at 4%?
He's not polling at 4%. He's polling at like 15 to 20%.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to win the primary, but I believe he's going. I don't think Fishback is going to beat him in the primary, but I believe that what's his name? Byron is not going to win. And looking in the chat, people are agreeing with me.
Is Florida jungle primary like California?
What does that mean, Boo?
The top two go to the general for gubernatorial.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Well, no, we have a primary. Everybody votes in that. And then there's a runoff, and depending on the percentage.
So in the primary of California, regardless of what party you're from, the top two.
Oh, it doesn't do like that. We don't do that. We do parties.
Okay.
Yeah.
In California, it's a jungle. It would be whoever gets the most in the primary, regardless of the party, which I actually like.
I like that too because you don't have to be registered. But in this state, you need to be registered, or you will not be voting in the primary. You have to be either Republican or Democrat to vote in the primary. You'll just get a general ballot and you won't be able to pick the people. But anyways, this is him being confronted on the affordability crisis. Here we go.
Congressman, do you think Donald Trump has delivered on his promise to lower prices?
Yeah, he actually has. I know gas prices are a little bit higher because of what's happening in Iran, but across the country, a lot of prices actually have stabilized. I think, inflation's hard, but I remember where we were with the Biden administration. Airline tickets jumped 50%. It was insane. So he's doing a great job. We need, the other side of the aisle to come and help us just do common sense business.
but President's doing great. If it were a report card, what grade would you give him on the economy? Oh, he gets an A. An A? Yeah, got it. Thank you, Congressman. Congressman, do you think
So Kamal, does he get an A to you? What do you think? What do you think about his comments?
Y'all already know my answer. All right. First of all, y'all killing it today. Y'all funny as hell today. God damn. Y'all y'all are killing me. Goodness gracious. You know what? I'm gonna take a different route. You know what? I'm not gonna tear down the man on this panel like the women tore down that woman earlier. Y'all tore down that woman. I'm gonna show some restraint. Okay, I'm taking the red pill. Nah, but to be serious, fuck Byron Donalds and James Fishback. I see through both them motherfuckers. James Fishback with all that. Tether this. Yeah, tether that. Man, shut your ass up until you start talking about tangibles for us Black Americans. Byron Donald, now he is a motherfucking tether. And let me school you on what a tether is, right? It's not a Black immigrant, y'all. Some of you stupid motherfuckers saying that bullshit. No, it's action-based. You see how Byron Donald is using his political power to undermine Black Americans? And we know he is, because his dumbass went on the Breakfast Club talking about Black Americans shouldn't get reparations because his mama couldn't get it. Nigga, your mama Jamaican. You Jamaican. How the hell you gonna get reparations from the States? God damn. And there y'all go. Boom. Tether definition right there. Now, James Fishback and Byron Donald, Gray and Nora, I feel sorry for y'all. Y'all got two bozo-ass candidates that y'all got to pick out of. Shit. Shit. There y'all go.
No. There is a Democrat running, and I've researched him. He's a former Republican, but he didn't like Trump. I will most likely be voting for him, depending on what he's promising. But where I'm at this point is I may not vote because I feel the Democrats need to work for my vote. And I haven't heard anything to make me want to go out my house, go stand in line and go vote. But yes, there is somebody else. His name is Holly Jolly. He's running, and he's who I'm considering voting for, to be honest.
His name is Holly Jolly?
No, something Jolly.
Is it Josh Hawley?
Josh Jolly. He used to be a Republican, but he switched. He couldn't stand Trump.
I did go off my.
He has conservative values. He's a Christian pastor. He was a reverend for many years. There are things about him that I personally do like, that I'm leaning towards voting for him.
Shit, put him in the group chat. We want to know. We want to know the good candidates. Nora, you feel me?
Where's the connections? Greg, call your Democrats.
I told you on the very first show, I told you about Butch Ware on the very first show. Do you remember? You said, who's that? And I said, look up Butch Ware. He's been running for a long time. He was the first to announce. You can still write in his name in the primary.
Oh. Anyway, can I say one more thing? I know we off the Elon Musk baby mama, but let's get on Elon Musk for a minute. Man, these African men, ain't they something else, ain't they? God damn. Bro got $1 billion and can't give his baby mama $100? 50. How much was that shit?
He was paying for her rent. It was $25,000 a month in New York, and she fucked that up. Like he was paying for rent.
Yes. Like I said, she fumbled. If you're gonna play the game, play it right.
And he gave her a Tesla truck, and when she started running her mouth, he repossessed it.
Damn.
And now she's selling secrets on TikTok. Like that's not how it go. Like if you're gonna be a part of the game, like play the game.
And you're right about that. God damn, that woman fumbled.
She doesn't get child support.
Because he was contesting the what's the word, DNA, the paternity. He was saying he didn't really know how it could be his, and she was like, well, you tripping, because I don't know how they had the baby, if it was on an island or if it was insemination. It was some weird thing behind it, but pretty much people didn't even know she was pregnant, honey. She just popped up and said she had a baby. People were really shocked because they had saw her at events and they never knew she was pregnant.
That's weird.
Yeah. Okay, one final clip, then we'll do closing thoughts. We'll react to this clip on closing thoughts. This is another one of Byron Donalds being confronted about the fundraiser thing he said. Here we go.
And do you think that corporate donors or PACs expect a return on investment when they donate to candidates more broadly, or when they donate to you, even if that's not the way you view it? Do you think they
actually, most of what it is people want to be able to know that you'll return their phone call.
So it is a bit of a return on investment in terms of time and energy.
To pick up the phone and hear what they say.
Just wanted to ask you about this video now that's out at that fundraiser you were at. There was the man who was hosting the fundraiser who said, was telling the people at the fundraiser to invest in your company and that they would become shareholders and that they would have a say in the future of the state if they do that. And I'm wondering whether you think that's sort of like a signal at pay for play, or what your thoughts are on that type of language about donors donating and then having a future of the say in public office.
I just think that the person was expressing themselves, but that's not how I view the office. Not at all. Never have.
Have any of those donors invested in your private company since then?
No, I don't even have a private company.
What was he saying then? He said invest in Congressman Donald's company and you'll have a future.
You got to ask him. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Question. Did I say that? Did those
Well,
words? Hold on. Wait.
You didn't challenge him. It was at your fundraiser.
Did those words come out of my mouth?
No, I'm asking you what he meant. You were
I've
there.
never,
I wasn't.
and I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I've never said that.
Okay.
That's not how I view it.
Okay.
If people choose to donate to me, that's great, and I appreciate their support. But there is no company that people are taking ownership in. I want to be very clear on this.
And do you
Fair?
think that corporate donors or PACs expect a return on investment when they donate to candidates more broadly, or when they donate to you, even if that's not the way you view it? Do you think
No,
they
actually, most of what it is people want to be able to know that you'll return their phone call.
So it is a bit of a return on investment in terms of time and energy.
To pick up the phone and hear what they say.
Should that not be the blanket?
Whoa. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with them.
Yeah.
And anybody who donates to me, I'm very clear. I will call me. I'll answer the phone. We'll sit down and meet. We'll talk through the issues. But your donation is not going to sway my judgment. If I think something is in the best interest of Florida, that is what we're going to do. If their interests happen to align with that, okay. If their interests do not align with that, then it's not going to happen.
If working class constituents who can't afford to donate call you, do you pick up the phone for them?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay.
And that's always been my track record. You can ask my office. Anytime somebody calls me, they want to get a meeting, they want to talk policy, they have an idea, we vet all of it. I actually send my policy guys a lot of stuff that typically happens in meet and greets. Somebody will give me like a couple of pages to read. I'll read through it. If I think the idea is a good idea, I'll send it on to the policy team and we vet it out.
All
Try
right,
to find a way to get it done.
Talk to you later.
All right. Before everyone gives their closing thoughts, he's full of shit. If you guys recall, a few months ago, we had someone on the show that talked about a ship, an old ship that's about to be dumped off the coast. Good friend of ours, Carlos, you met him, Ratchet. He wouldn't take 5 minutes to talk to him about this ship. He tracked him down. He found him at Turning Point. He spoke to him multiple times, and not once has he taken the time to call him back. So he is so slick and so full of shit. And again, some people in the chat was like, do you really want the same Democrats that ruined San Francisco? I hear your argument on that, but I don't want that either, because that to me is going to be worse than Ron DeSantis. Because at least with Ron, you knew what you were getting. This guy is full of poo-poo to me. But anyways, that's just me. I'm going to allow everybody to say their closing thoughts. Kim, what's your closing thoughts there?
I will say San Francisco is a shame. They have ruined San Francisco. It's such a beautiful city, but it's so ugly now. I can't go. I had this conversation with Gray about the Israel topic at a gubernatorial level, right? So I encourage everyone to look into BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. It's effective at a gubernatorial state level, especially with a state like California, where there is a lot of investment in Israeli spyware and weapons and all that in Silicon Valley. So boycott, divestment, sanctions, BDS, not to be confused with BDSM, which I also like. And then with regards to the whole baby mama drama, that was funny. I was joking, but it's funny. It's entertaining. Oh man, that girl's crazy. I also encourage, if anybody's out in California, come on. I mean, if you want to vote your conscience, it's just a primary. Write in Butch Ware. He is for reparations. He's also for reparations at a state level because, I mean, conversation for another day, but there's also some land taken away from freedmen in the state of California outside of the 40 acres and a mule that are owed to the descendants of freedmen. And it was a great conversation. I love talking to you all, and you guys make me laugh. And you guys can follow me all. I'm Kimberly and Nell on all social media.
Thank you, Kim. Ratchet, welcome. Your first official night. What's your closing thoughts, my dear?
My closing thoughts is first, thank you so much for having me. It's always a ball being on here with the new party, exchanging ideas with all the brilliant guests that you always have. I do want to repent for all the cussing I was doing. You know, my name is the Ratchet Christian, heavy on the Christian part. I shouldn't have been cussing like that, but I stand on what it is that I said about the girls and everybody else too. I get angry, you know, I get fed up. I get tired of the gaslighting, the manipulation. It's extremely frustrating for me to just see that play out on the world stage from just about everyone that they put a camera in front of in the political scene. It's extremely infuriating. And it's really hard for me to play along as though it's not. And so, yeah, man, I'm grateful for the new party because I feel like this is the future of politics. This is the future of, you know, what the American people feel like. All of us from different spaces, whether we're FBAs, Democrats, conservatives, Republicans, independents, getting together, having a conversation and making real change that affects our daily lives, not in some place far away that we don't interact with, or, you know, platforming or giving accolades to women who just want to do whatever, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, all over the place, but to sum it all up, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Kamal, what's your closing thoughts?
Man, this was a great episode. I appreciate everybody on the panel. Y'all go follow Kimberly and also the Ratchet Christian on YouTube and on TikTok. Ratchet Christian, you got a TikTok? I don't know if you got a TikTok.
I do have a TikTok. I'm the Ratchet Christian on TikTok too.
There y'all go. Boom. Y'all go follow the Ratchet Christian and Kimberly on TikTok. Also follow the new party. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Also, if you want to come over on my end, you feel me? We had a couple of goddamn stalkers of the lineage in the chat. If y'all really want to get down, come over on my side. Kamal Johnson, you feel me? The chat was cool today. We had some of the regulars. I see you, Eric, Ray FBA. You feel me? Kelly was in the chat earlier. Appreciate you. Yeah, this was a great episode. Pete Hegseth, Pig Hegseth. I don't give a damn how you pronounce his name. I think Bird is allegedly lying. I don't know. He was stuttering in that one clip. He was I was like, God damn, shit, spit it out, man. You got the Indian bird flaming you up right now. And then the next thing we talked about was an African man's baby mama, Elon Musk, and his baby mama spilling all the beans, showing all the grifters that we know that they be grifting. I've been saying this for a minute now. So yeah. And then Byron Donalds, man, I ain't gonna lie, Nora and Gray, I feel sorry for y'all because y'all got two candidates. I know you say Nora, you say you're gonna vote for the Democratic candidate or whatever, but the Byron Donalds and James Fishburne back, whatever the hell you want to call his name. Yeah, two terrible ass candidates, you feel me? The Africans catching the straight. I'm sorry, you feel me? Elon Musk, I'm just saying, you feel me? If Elon Musk was black, he would get a lot of different type of press. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Anyway, I don't really got much else to really say. This was a great episode. Everybody in the chat, have a lovely weekend. And yeah, I will say this. Frisco is kind of a shithole, but I dare y'all talk about my hometown, the Bay Area, like that. I'm from Oakland, damn it, and I'm gonna goddamn protect the Bay Area. I dare y'all talk about San Francisco, and some of y'all that ain't from California, y'all be talking about California too, saying we soft and shit. I'm tired of that. You feel me? We hold it down out here. All right, y'all.
Damn. Gray, what's your closing thoughts?
We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night.
Damn, took the words out of you. Oh Lord, took the words out of Gray. Anyways, guys, we do this every Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday and Wednesdays is the Man Cave, and Tuesday and Thursdays is the New Party. If you're watching for the first time, please hit that. I won't be long-winded. Guys, have a nice weekend. God bless. Stay safe and stay alert and keep your head on a swivel.
Hello, history buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Freedom of future. A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls. To the encampment for freedom of future.
For liberty. This is what American patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty.
The hour our liberty is at hand at. For freedom is robbed by. Secure our liberty. My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
Welcome to my colonial home. Today, Del Payne's New Work captures the spirit of We Fight for Independence. And our freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Hour is late. You must enact. To the encampment for liberty. Through every change and challenge. We stand at the dawn of liberty, unshaken by the trials ahead. Soldiers, the enemy is near. Front line, fire me!